There's something on my lips that nobody can see. Please take it off. Take it off and let me talk. This is my plea. Let me talk without gestures, but with my voice. This is my choice. Words are so meaningful, so moving, so beautiful. Remove this horrible thing. Let me speak, and like a bird, sing.
That poem was written by this woman, Ann Abbott. Ann has cerebral palsy. It's not a disease, but rather a disability caused by injury to the brain. It affects the parts of the brain that control the muscles. Some, like Ann, can't speak because the facial and throat muscles are affected. Ann's brain was injured at birth. For a few moments, her brain didn't receive enough oxygen. Lack of oxygen causes some brain cells to deteriorate. With Ann, no one realized there was a problem at the time. In fact, the doctor declared her absolutely perfect.
I guess when she was about 6 to 7 months, I noticed she couldn't sit alone. And her brother by this time was sitting alone and could even hold a cup. But Ann couldn't do any of those things. But she was such a responsive baby and so normal in every other way. And I kept asking the family doctor, is there any problem? And he said, no, you're just comparing her with her brother. She's fine. She's just a little slow.
Eventually, when Ann was 2, she was assessed by a neurologist. She was found to be above normal intelligence, but she was also found to have cerebral palsy.
I cried for 2 days without stopping, I think. Every time I looked at her, I cried. And then I saw this happy child, and I said, why are you crying? I mean, she's still your Ann. She's the same child she was before you found this out. So let's just go on and hope for the best. Between her and I, we just kept going, kept trying. We never gave up.
I've always had drive and determination. It's just the way I am. But I guess it was how I was raised, too. Because my parents gave me the confidence to believe in myself and to try new things. I had dreams of being a doctor, a famous actress, an artist. I wanted to be rich and famous. My family never belittled my dreams. They were always very supportive. They knew I had to have my dreams.
But one day in her teens, reality struck.
It suddenly dawned on me that this was it. I was going to be disabled for the rest of my life. There would be no miracle cures, no magical drinks to make me better. I was extremely depressed and hated everything about myself. However, I slowly came to realize that my life wasn't over just because I was disabled. There were still things I wanted to do and see, and God willing, somehow I would make them all happen in spite of my disability.
Ann's spirit has amazed everyone who knows her. No one ever thought she'd be able to live on her own, but in 1989 she moved into her own apartment. Some of the units in the building are designed to accommodate people with disabilities. The special apartments are one of the projects operated by one of the many agencies supported by the Ontario Federation for Cerebral Palsy. The Federation is a non-profit charitable organization that provides services to people with disabilities. In this building, there are 8 full-time attendants who provide 24-hour service. Teresa Carlin is one of Ann's attendants. She gets her up in the mornings, helps her wash and dress, and returns later to help with meals. The arrangement enables Ann to maximize her independence. It's up to her to schedule the times that she would like Teresa to come.
Independence to me means being able to eat or drink or sleep whenever I want. It means being able to have control over my own life, to be able to make my own choices, and to be able to live my life the way I want to. Independence means being able to choose what I want to buy at the mall, choose what I want for dinner, and choose how I wear my hair. To me, there's nothing more gratifying than to know that you can make your own way in life.
Because of the assistance Ann receives, she's able to get on with the things that matter most to her, like her work with the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education.
Meeting. Oh, when's the next CRC meeting?
Ann collaborated on a research project with Carrie Crow, looking into the social impact of computer communications on the lives of people with disabilities. A computer bulletin board system, or BBS, is a key element in Ann's own life. In fact, it's how she met her fiancé, Rob.
I kept the secret of being disabled to myself, afraid of how he might react. I knew some people didn't feel comfortable around disabled people. People have patted me on the head as if I were a dog, or have talked to me like a child. I didn't want to take any chances with my new acquaintances on the BBS. I knew I would have to tell Rob the truth before we could ever meet. He seemed so nice, I felt I could trust him, so I told him. To my surprise and delight, he said it didn't matter that I was disabled.
So with her mother in tow, Anne agreed to meet Rob in a shopping mall.
Hi.
Must be you. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Anne's mom.
Hi.
When I first saw Rob, I thought he had the biggest, brownest, sexiest eyes I had ever seen.
I look just like you. Look just like I described you. Oh.
He was kind of shy, so I did most of the talking. I was surprised at how fast he picked up reading my speech card. My mom left us alone for a while. After that, we met almost every week. We'd talk, kiss, and snack on ice cream cones, and we fell in love. Before I met Rob, I felt sad but resigned to the thought I would never find a boyfriend. Meeting him was the highlight of my life.
Here's a good picture for you.
It's been 5 years since we met now, and we're still very happy and very much in love. Having Rob as my fiancé means having someone who loves me for me, someone who can see past my disability to the person I really am.
People with cerebral palsy have different needs, and there are many options available to them, like this residential facility called Participation House. It's another project run by one of the agencies supported by the Ontario Federation for Cerebral Palsy. It has 40 full-time residents and provides everything from education to physical rehabilitation. These pool exercises, for instance, are tailored to each individual. For a person with cerebral palsy, this may be the only time when their muscles are fully relaxed.
Do you remember when we talked about going across North America?
This is an adult education class. Some of these people may not have had the opportunity to go to school as children. Many have learning difficulties, and some have sustained head injuries as adults. The life skills class is another option. Life skills can include cooking, banking, making medical appointments. Today, it's bingo. Committed volunteers like Wayne, a police officer, are an important part of the program.
How many cards you playing, Phyllis?
I told you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, for you too, Wayne.
I'm not going too fast, eh, Phyllis?
No, let's take your time and do good.
All right.
Don't go too fast.
Some residents will eventually move on to more independent settings, such as group homes or supported apartments. Participation House Director Sharon Lawler says the whole focus is to help each person maximize their independence.
Are you going to have a pizza?
Each person here has their own room and gives it their own personal touch, often with the help of family. And families, parents working together, is what the Ontario Federation of Cerebral Palsy is all about. Fighting for services, developing programs, helping each other. Susan Biani is one such parent. She has a 10-year-old child with cerebral palsy. She's also a volunteer with the Federation and now uses her own experience to help other families who have children with disabilities.
Hello. Oh, hi, Linda. How you doing?
Well, not so good. Yeah. Well, we're still having trouble feeding Jocelyn, and it's really wearing thin on us.
Oh, dear.
Linda and her husband Wayne had twin girls. One of the twins, Jocelyn, wouldn't suck and she couldn't swallow. Trying to feed her was a nightmare. She would throw up what little food they got into her, and she cried all the time. Doctors told them the baby was just lazy, or maybe she wasn't hungry. It got to the point that Jocelyn would even scream when she saw the bottle coming. They found the only thing that worked was to drip milk into her mouth with an eyedropper when she was asleep. So at night, Linda and Wayne would get up every 2 hours trying to feed her.
We were running around from doctor to doctor, trying to get a label or trying to get a name for what we knew there was something wrong, but we didn't know what it was. And so it was a very frustrating time for us those first few months, dealing with something that we didn't know what it was. Your nerves are just so afraid that someone says something and you find a way to make it into an argument, and it's really sad.
Linda had come to the end of her rope. One day, someone suggested she contact the Ontario Federation for Cerebral Palsy. And that's how she met Susan.
I know. It's tough. One thing I try and do is make the feeding time as pleasant and in some ways distracting as possible. I know some people think that's the wrong thing to do, but it seems to work for us.
It improved. Now, well, when did it improve?
With Susan's encouragement and their own determination, Linda and Wayne made it through that difficult time. The twins are now 4 years old and thriving. The couple just wish they had known where to turn sooner.
It took years before we found out all the organizations that could provide us with information, provide us with support. It might have helped a lot of anxious moments and days in our lives.
The next hurdle for Linda and Wayne is to get Jocelyn into kindergarten. And once again, they will turn to Susan Biani for advice. Susan succeeded in getting her own daughter, Rebecca, into a regular school. It wasn't easy. Even some segregated settings had turned her down. They considered Rebecca to be too low functioning.
We just don't believe that kids who are disabled being segregated is a way for them to grow up learning how to be in the community. And it also doesn't allow the other people, the able-bodied people in the community, to learn how to help support them. And we feel that self-esteem is developed through relationships with other people, friendships, people affirming you as being a worthwhile person. And that doesn't happen in isolation.
Susan feels that friendships will be the key to Rebecca's future, to the time when she and her husband will no longer be there to care for her. The future is also a concern to older people with cerebral palsy. People like Scott MacArthur, who at 42 can hardly be considered old. But cerebral palsy takes a toll on the body, which often results in signs of early aging. Scott says the biggest issue for him is burnout. He's tired of the repetitive routine of attendant care.
Thank you for calling TTC Wheel-Trans Dispatch. Please have your registration number ready.
Scott works as a training manager for the Ontario Federation for Cerebral Palsy. But he says that when he comes home at the end of the day, his door isn't closed for the night. Someone has to come and put him to bed. The last person he sees at night is an attendant. And the first person he sees in the morning is an attendant. No matter how he feels, he tries to make an effort to be cheerful for them. He says people who care for the disabled get burnt out within a year or two. But at least they have the option to quit.
And for me, I can't quit. It's part of my life. And I get angry at it sometimes. I'm just tired of being responsible all the time.
Still, he's grateful for the freedom that attendant care allows him. Despite the fact that he grew up in an institution, Scott has achieved tremendous independence. He was told he'd be in a nursing home all his life, so he's still a little taken aback at what he's accomplished. A good job, his own apartment, the ability to run his own errands. All that's missing is someone to share it with. And that's his greatest fear about aging, that he will be alone. In the meantime, for parents like Linda and Wayne, it's still one day at a time.
We live one day, 1 week, and 1 month. And that's it. We just can't worry about what will happen. So many changes will happen in society. Technology will be different. Lots of things will be different that we don't even envision right now. So we don't waste our energies worrying about that. And we try and concentrate on living and enjoying right now, today, and integrating her into a normal life.
And Ann Abbott? Hardly surprising, given what she's accomplished so far. Her dreams are big.
I dream of going bungee jumping, skydiving, hang gliding, and I dream of traveling to Europe to seek my roots in Britain, settling down abroad. But my biggest dream is still that a miracle will happen, and someone will find a cure for cerebral palsy. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. Maybe this will never happen. But I can dream, can't I?